Good afternoon. Welcome to the 311 Synergy webinar. Our webinar today is about our 311 Synergy Spring Meeting Preview, and it's quickly approaching, and we'd like to give everyone a sneak peek at the great lineup that we have for this year's 311 Group Spring Meeting. Our first three speakers today are from our 311 Synergy Planning Committee. Halima is a Customer Service Manager from Norfolk, Virginia, and Leslie is a 311 Director from Montgomery County, Maryland, and Donna is the 311 Operations Manager from Richmond, Virginia. They're going to give us some highlights for our upcoming spring meeting, and then after they present, we'll hear from our 2015 Diamond sponsor, Microsoft, Jeff Friedman, and their partner, ADX Studio, Cory Robinson, will be presenting. So just a little overview on the 311 Synergy Group. We're an industry networking group on LinkedIn. There's a lot of information sharing, education. It's a lot of fun, a lot of interaction, a lot of questions that get asked and people respond to back and forth. The group is open to all municipalities with an interest in 311. And this year, our 2015 chairperson is Rob Duncan, and he's the Customer Service Manager for the City of Austin. And we, the 311 Synergy Group, invite you to join us for our annual 311 Synergy meeting, and it's quickly approaching. It's in the beautiful city of Charlotte, North Carolina next month, April 26th through the 28th. It's a 3-day event-packed session, and we all can benefit from these type of sessions, whether we've been to one of these meetings before or whether this is your first time coming. Hope you all can make it. During our presentations, if you have any questions, please upload your questions to the Q&A panel, and remember to select all participants so that everyone can see them. And we'll address them at the end of the call where we have hopefully allotted enough time for the questions and answers. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to the first presenter, Halima.
Thank you. So my name is Halima Arias. I'm the Customer Service Manager for the City of Norfolk, Virginia's Norfolk Cares Impact Call Center. I know that sounds like a mouthful. I have 13 years of local government experience from code enforcement to housing and then social services. So we definitely hope that you'll join us in Charlotte, North Carolina. I can tell you with each conference I went to, it's just been an invaluable experience. And with me being a newbie, so to speak, it has definitely given me the opportunity to share with my upper management more about how we can just learn and grow. So I definitely appreciate it and definitely hope that you'll join us. The theme of this year's conference is a focus on the keys to 311 success, which I'm not sure about you, but I'm just completely excited about that. I believe that this year's conference will truly be a wonderful learning and networking opportunity. And the three core areas that will be discussed at the conference are people, process, and technology. And each topic area has the focus on helping your municipality to be the best it can possibly be, and it definitely has helped our municipality and our personal experience to definitely move further, and it has definitely improved the citizen experience here in Norfolk, Virginia. So our call center has actually been in existence since 2005. We were then the Norfolk Cares Assistance Center, so we've always had very long names. However, our center was never a member of the Synergy Group or attended any conferences. I actually began working in the center in 2011 and heard about the Synergy Group and how beneficial that it would be in my assignment. And my basic assignment was just to overhaul the whole center. My very first conference was in Tampa, Florida in 2013, and like I said, again and again, it just changed our center 100% for the better. At the conference, everyone was just very welcoming. very patient, willing to answer questions, and very knowledgeable. And I truly felt as though we were, I was in one big 311 family, so to speak. Some of the ways coming to the conference has improved our center is, one, the transition of departments into call center and performance measurements. When I initially came to the first conference, we were tasked with trying to transition departments into our center, and we had a huge difficulty with that. We actually even had one of our department staff persons say that they hoped that we failed because it was never going to work. So by the time the second conference came, we had been in transition for 1 year, and the same staff person basically stated, I couldn't imagine how it would be without the transition. So that's one of the major effects that this conference has had for us. And also as a result of that, they had a huge customer service issue as far as refuse collections, and as a result of what I've learned and us working together, they've actually improved their performance 60% since the conference. Additionally, the conference enabled us to change our work management processes. We've improved our workflow and productions, and it's resulted in the citizens spreading the word on their own on how contacting the city works. We also began an initiative titled Smart Processing, and it lets us use the data from our call center to identify areas where we can improve the customer service experience in government. Basically taking all of the information, and if it's that a citizen has an issue with they're having to go to different places for permits, we were hand in hand with the construction team or development team on how can we make a centralized center based off of comments shared by citizens in the call center. Additionally, we have also changed our interaction with residents as a result of what we've learned in the conference. We learned different methods of interaction. We also began working with our Office of Neighborhood Development to begin changes after a presentation that I saw at the conference. And it's resulted in educational workshops such as Codes Academy for citizens, and also a Renters' Rights and Responsibilities workshop, and even working with students in universities. Also on a neighborhood level, we started working with an individual neighborhood on their visioning and engagement program, and again, that was as a result of utilizing 311 data as well. So at this year's conference, I thought that attendees might have an interest in call handling because this was something I was curious to find out from the various cities. So I will be presenting at this conference the methods in which various cities take incoming calls and route requests to responsible departments. So I'm going to now pass it off to Leslie Hamm, the director of the MC311 Customer Service Center. Leslie has truly been so helpful and so encouraging to me, myself a newbie, and I'm just going to pass it off to her.
Thank you very much for that nice introduction. So this next slide is about what you're missing if you don't join us. So these are actual quotes from participants of last year's 311 spring meeting. And you can read them for yourself, but I know from my personal experience was that, man, the energy, the focus that's in the room is just amazing. You can see the sharing of ideas, putting names with faces. One of the things that really struck me about the 311 community that I got to know in my very first conference a few years ago is that it's a real sharing community. So there's hardly anything that's proprietary. We're all happy to share things with each other, and that really comes across during these spring meetings. As Halima mentioned before, you don't have to worry. If you're a newbie, you come and you're going to learn. You don't need to come there thinking, okay, I'm expected to be an expert, or you're going to feel comfortable right away. Everyone's so friendly, which, we're in the customer service field, so that makes sense. It also gives us the opportunity to learn about new technologies, other opportunities, for instance, for different kinds of channels for customers to get a hold of you. I know I learned a lot about marketing campaigns the last few years, and that's really helped us grow. We copied after someone, now I'm thinking it was in Philly, and we actually have a community engagement team that goes out. We have CSRs, customer service representatives who go out into the community. It's a wonderful opportunity for them because they get to hear the compliments and the accolades. Sometimes they're not hearing here when customers are calling about a street that hasn't been plowed and that kind of thing. But it's also nice for customers because they get to see that these are real life people, and these are some of the people that they're talking to when they call, and I think it gives them a good feeling as well. It also makes you feel better about what you're going through. So I know in the very beginning I thought, what is this? And knowing that other people have been dealing with the same things, learning from them about how they handled it, and then potentially you could also share some things that they might not have thought of as well. So you really should come because you're going to be really sorry if you don't. You're going to miss out on a lot of really, really exciting opportunities to meet people and learn new things. So as I mentioned, I wish I'd come sooner. We launched our 311 Customer Service Center here in Montgomery County, Maryland in June of 2010. And as it says on the slide, I was really, really drinking from a fire hose. I didn't even think I could make it home to my house at night, much less go to a conference in another state. When I did finally make it to the first spring meeting, I thought, I should have come last year. I should have come the year before. I would have learned so much more. I would have felt better about what was going on because you kind of feel, at least I did, a little different from everything else. In our county, there's really nothing else like 311 that's so, the highly structured environment, the way we have to do business. And so any of you that have started 311 centers know the challenge there. And wow, what a breath of fresh air. The folks that I met, the atmosphere, I really realized I was home. All right, so one of the activities that we're going to be doing as part of the spring meeting is we're actually going to be visiting the CRM 311 Center. There's some information here about the program. They serve an average of 1.7 million customers a year, which is huge. You're going to have an opportunity, if you're joining us, to tour the CRM 311 call center and watch some demonstrations on data mining for better management and implementing a citizen relationship management system. I think they're actually just developing a new tool, so that'll be very, very exciting. There's also going to be a presentation about training, quality assurance, and partner liaison. The city manager won't be there for the tour, unfortunately, but he will be there on Tuesday morning to talk to us a little bit, provide a few words of encouragement, and really talk about the importance of 311 in the CRM community. All right, so my recommendation is that you really just jump in with both feet, especially if you're a new person. You're going to have so many opportunities to learn from others and share your expertise. We've tried to make this year's meeting very, very interactive. We're going to start off with an ideation session that's basically a brainstorming session where you come up with what are some of those hot issues that we all want ideas on how to handle. It's not only a great opportunity to learn more about how to handle these issues, but it's going to be a really fun way to meet your neighbors, for your colleagues, for the next 3 days of the spring meeting. We're also going to learn about some team building activities. So we're going to have little 15-minute breaks between presentations, and you'll have the opportunity to potentially learn some new team building activities and practice them with the folks that you have at your table so that you can build your team not only here at the spring meeting, but also take it back home to work with your staff. You'll have the opportunity to participate in small informal group facilitated discussions in our learning lounges. And so certainly we're going to have the bigger presentations. They're going to be lasting half an hour, 45 minutes, that kind of thing. And that's, a lot of listening, a lot of great information. But it's also nice just to have that informal discussion about, here's some things we're learning about. For instance, one of the things we're doing is what do people think about allowing technology at the desks? Should they be able to look at their iPad between the calls. One of the things we're looking at is customer satisfaction surveys. You know, who does them? How are you doing them? So there's lots of information in those little discussions. And then we're going to have a stickety-wicket roundtable discussion. So you're going to be presented with a dilemma, and then you're going to work with the folks at your table to come up with some strategies for handling it. And I think that's a really good learning opportunity as well. We're going to have a daily check-in at the end of the day. So each day is chock full of lots of wonderful, interesting things. But are we missing some things? And we want to know from you if something is missing, we haven't talked about a topic yet that's really important to you. And if we're not meeting that, how can we fix it? All right, so there's a couple slides about the registration, but this one's great because it's got the link. If you're ready to join us, it's easy to register. It's not too late. The link is here. You're going to see it again at the end of the sponsor presentation. Really, really encourage you to come. We'd love to meet you if we don't already know you, and I think you're going to be very, very happy with this year's spring meeting. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Donna Williams-Ormond. She is the Operations Manager at the 311 Customer Care Center in the city of Richmond, Virginia.
Hello, everyone. And I'm on the actual Customer Service Week Planning Utility Conference Committee, and one of my duties is to be the lead for the 311 Synergy Group, and I am happy to be here, and 311 has been fantastic place for me to come to get information and to meet people, so I hope everybody can attend in April. But I'll talk to you a little bit about just a very high level of my presentation that I will be delivering in Charlotte. It's about our 311 Employee Development and Succession program that we developed. Okay, all right. And I'm going to talk about why and how we did this. Well, one of the main reasons is because once 311 and the Department of Utilities call centers merged, we had a serious disparity in pay between our CSRs. And we had CSR 4s, 3s, and 2s. And in some cases, we had 2s making as much as $8,000 more than our CSR 4s in the Department of Utilities. And it was a serious morale issue because pay stubs were shared between CSRs. So we actually contacted HR in our compensation division, and they went out and did some searching and some pay market analysis, and they came back and told us basically what a truly proficient employee should be making. And we basically had to find a way to make that happen. And one of the ways that we have in the city is we have something called an employee broadbanding program, where employees can actually progress through a program, and as they progress, they actually will have compensation in their salary. And one of the things we definitely wanted to ensure consistency, we wanted to improve morale, and we wanted to maintain our competitiveness within our call center industry. Richmond, Virginia has numerous call centers. The program was also, we wanted to be developed by the employees. What? They came up with their own title for the position, and they decided to call themselves Customer Care Specialists. So the broadbanding program became the Customer Care Specialist Broadband Program. And how it basically works is there are basically 5 progressive development zones. At the conference, I'm going to go through these at length, but just for today, I want you to know that there are 5 different zones, as you can see. You start with the new hire at Zone 1, and you go all the way up to a Zone 5, which is a senior customer care specialist. And basically, how you move, we look at assessment scores from training, we look at quality scores, and we also, you have to meet or exceed the annual performance evaluation to progress to each one of the zones. Where it says intra-zone 3-1, basically between Zone 3 and Zone 4, you can have 2 intra-zone increases, and they're once a year. And you have 1 intra-zone for 4, and then 1 intra-zone for 5. The intra-zone 4-1 and 5-1, basically these positions, the zone 4 and 5 and the intra-zones, these positions are only come available when there's a vacancy. The 4 is a lead position, and the zone 5 is a senior position. And basically here, to get to zone 4, you have to have a certification in customer service, and to become a zone 5 senior, you have to have a certification in leadership. And we actually use outside vendors for those certification programs. The responsibilities. The specialists, we wanted to put a lot of emphasis and responsibility on the specialists because we didn't want to handhold them through the process because they know what they're doing better than us trying to figure out what 60 different reps are doing. So basically, there's a form that they have to complete in order to move, and it puts the onus on them to make sure that they are doing all of the steps. The supervisor then gets that movement, and they will then turn in the movement to their manager for the actual movement, and they make sure that they pass their performance evaluation, that the quality score is accurate for accuracy. And they also work with the specialists throughout the program if they need any assistance or anything to reach these goals. And then the customer service manager actually oversees the whole broadband program. Some tidbits. The primary focus is quality. The higher your quality score is up and you maintain, that's great. If you slip in the score, you'll go back to a zone where that quality score was. So you have to basically increase your quality score at every step. And then performance, you have to maintain your performance in your scorecard. And then lastly, communication. Everybody's got to be talking to each other in order to keep this thing going and making sure everything happens the way it's supposed to. And then lessons learned. If anybody wants to do any type of a program like this, you need an experienced facilitator. We ran into issues with we lost a facilitator, then we didn't have a facilitator, and you really need someone to help the reps because they're there without management coming up with the basic idea of the whole program. And then you want to communicate. The people on the employees on the team should be communicating with their cohorts on the floor to make sure that they have buy-in in every step of the process. If something changes, if the date changes, because people are waiting for money and they want to progress, it needs to be communicated at every step of the path. And then, of course, money. There were a lot of agents, the only thing they were concerned about is when can I get money without looking at all the things they have to do. They have to maintain a certain quality. So you definitely want to make sure they understand that this is not just about getting money. It's about the benefit to the city and the citizens. And basically, that's really our program. And I'm going to, I guess, Cheryl?
Yes. Thank you, Halima, Leslie, and Donna. Hopefully you all got a good taste of what the meeting will be like and a good overview of what we will be going through. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now we're going to move on to our 2015 Diamond Sponsor presentation from Microsoft, and they are partnering with ADX Studio. Go ahead, Jeff.
Great. Thanks very much, everybody, for jumping on the call. Really appreciate your time. Also just wanted to say that it's always wonderful to speak with everybody again. Just to refresh memories, I was the 311 implementation manager in Philadelphia in 2008, so probably one of my greatest professional claims to fame is that I helped find Rosetta and get her hired, and she's done a wonderful job in Philadelphia over the last few years, so very proud of that. So I'll just speak for a few minutes, and then I'll hand it over to Cory from ADX. I just wanted to tell folks a little bit about CityNext. CityNext is Microsoft's program for engaging with cities. It's sort of a programmatic place where we put all of the work that we're doing with and for city governments. It has really three main thrusts. Transform is about what we can do kind of on the inside of the organization. How can we support transformational change that thrills and delights citizens, but also helps governments work smarter, faster, better. Engagement is, how do we make all of those transactions with businesses, citizens, visitors more seamless and painless for the folks on the front end, but also how do we help facilitate better management on the back end? And then accelerate are sort of the programs really don't have, they're connected to but not driven by the platform solutions, but they come out of typically out of our citizenship and our DX, which stands for Developer Experience programs. And citizenship has a lot of programs that helps bring citizens to awareness of and involvement in STEM activities and pursuit of STEM careers and jobs. And economic development is about how can we help cities solve challenges while creating jobs and wealth for the citizens. In terms of sort of how do our perspective or our approach, we want to help cities leverage what they have, so it's not about necessarily ripping and replacing existing infrastructure. It's figuring out how to connect the pieces that already exist, and then also realizing that every city isn't necessarily Boston or San Francisco. Not every place is big, and we sort of have to take everybody as they are. These are the 4 kind of big domains that we organize the City Next activity into. It's all intuitive, modern cities, safer cities, public safety, healthier, and then of course education. This provides, I'm not going to read it, but this just breaks it out a little bit more and gives some examples of the various subdomains and then solution sets that we have solution partners responding to in the government and civic challenge area. And then one of the things that I do a lot in my job, and I didn't mention what my title is, but I'm the Director of E-Government Business Development. So I work with partners who build on our stack and help them help governments. I really love working with startups because they are typically younger, very energetic, have a kind of a fresh eye and a fresh approach to dealing with civic and government challenges. So I just wanted to mention real quickly a few of the companies that I've been working with and that I'm interested in. One is Opportunity Space, which actually went through the Fast Forward Accelerator in Philadelphia that I was fortunate enough to be part of before I left government. But they are essentially an online real estate broker for city property. So they help bring visibility to properties that a city wants to sell, and they connect buyers with the government agency that wants to dispose of that property. Citizen Investor is basically, it's like Kickstarter for government, but it's a platform that helps people who work in government or in the public education sector raise money, leveraging social media to bring those projects to fruition. And then Insights is, it's a solution that really resonated with me because I actually did work when I was with government sort of the old way, where basically I, sent emails out to everybody in the enterprise and solicited input on, on one thing or another. I think I actually did this twice. And Philadelphia has 26,000 people, so it was administratively, I guess, burdensome, to say the least, to send emails out to that many people and to try to aggregate and collate responses. Basically, what Insights allows you to do is to kind of crowdsource that input solicitation piece, but also it helps you crowdsource the organization, collation, synthesizing of that input, and then produces very succinct reports. So it's really a decision-making tool as well as, I mean, it takes the input, but then it helps you drive towards decisions. So, and I just wanted to say a bit about Dynamics, which is our CRM product, before seamlessly passing it along to ADX. So essentially what our platform does is it provides a better approach for businesses because it gives you a declarative framework for creating solutions. It gives you a pre-delivered set of business rules and functionalities that only need to be developed on top of. So typically customers can find maybe 70 to 80% of their requirements met simply by kind of taking what we have out of the box. And then one way of describing it is Microsoft, our product is sort of baking the cake, and then our partners or our developers working in a city can sort of put the icing on to make it do exactly what they want it to do. Developers can also then migrate the application from the cloud to a local on-premise environment, or the other way around in a pretty seamless way. And this ability to port the application across cloud and on-premises and the ability to build most components in a declarative manner increases the productivity of developers and their organizations. This just provides an example of the many different applications that we have for Dynamics. Obviously, a priority for us is Call Center 311 in the bottom right, but we have solution partners who build on top of our platform in a myriad of domains, and this is just, again, a kind of a smattering of those: investigation management, grant management. And one of the values really of going with the Microsoft platform is we have, domestically, I think we have about 425,000 or so partners who do work for us, or who do work on our stack in you know, enterprise, government, and commercial. So there are many different options for providers, and one of our great providers, of course, is ADX Studios. And I will now pass the mic over to Cory so he can pick up the rest.
Great, thanks very much, Jeff, and thank you all for having us on the session today. It's very exciting to be able to share some of this with you. I know everyone's looking forward to the actual session, so this is kind of the teaser that we're giving you. We're just going to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're going to see at Synergy 311, the conference. And so as Jeff introed, you know, there are some key pillars to the civic and government solutions that we're offering. You'll see on the screen right now, we have 5 key pillars, really focusing on things like quick start implementation. Budgets and time are crucial for municipalities, of course, and government agencies. So getting things up quickly and low cost is highly important. So we'll be talking about that. Mobility, of course, is so key these days with citizens and stakeholders. The ability to access things anywhere, any device, so key. Obviously, self-service, trying to do more with less, putting things in the hands of the citizens so that they can actually handle things themselves and actually divert things before they actually become cases. So there's some great opportunities there. And of course, social media listening. Ironically, that's the buzz right now, which is, of course, all on Twitter and all of the different social media aspects. But the key there is that you're not just focusing on social media, but you're getting real-time data, and you're getting updates and geocodes and hotspots and all sorts of great information that really enables you to take action on that information, which kind of segues into the 5th pillar of analytics. And that's really where you can now analyze and prioritize all of the data that's coming in and then make your calls as to what actions you want to take after that. So those are sort of the 5 key pillars. If we just go a bit deeper, and again, we'll be talking about more of these in the actual conference, the key differentiators of the solution, because we do recognize there are solutions out there. Speed to implement, so important. It's based on a well-known, obviously very proven Microsoft platform. We have flexible cloud platform. Jeff mentioned the ability to have either cloud or on-premise, strong cybersecurity and interoperability. Citizen and business offerings spanning city departments and agencies, The market-leading BI, so useful. Integration with Microsoft Office, as many of your organizations will be using. And then best-in-class social listening, of course. And if I just advance now, there we go. So the government and portal solutions, and really those of you who attended Synergy 311 last year did hear about some of these. The solution that we have is not just about 311. It does extend further, and so we'll talk a little bit more about this in terms of you've got 311, but you also have access and the ability to expand into things like permits, licensing, grants, emergency response, social engagement, things like that. We talked a little bit about the mobility, 24/7 access. You have a library of pre-configured service requests, and even though it comes with that library of pre-configured, we can extend that even further, so you can customize your own without code or development, and that's so key because you don't want to be reliant on going back and doing a lot of code development, and that's what really the Microsoft and ADX solution offers. We're going to, in the conference, we're going to talk more about some examples. I know the examples are key, and that's really, as Leslie was mentioning, one of the advantages of Synergy 311 is the sharing of ideas and learning from other cities. We recently, one of the recent successes that we had was a municipality where they had a need for rapid implementation, needed coordinated departments, needed to increase productivity, streamline services, and have transparency. And for them, we were able to complete the customer service solution implementation in just 11 weeks. And I know from talking to many civic and government agencies, 11 weeks is really quite favored. Most are used to many months to develop and implement these solutions. That solution in particular included a centralized call center, self-service, and mobility. The population for that municipality is about 1.2 million. So again, in the conference, we'll go more into that and describe what we were able to do and how we were able to do that. As I mentioned, some other areas to the solution, including permits, licensing, and grants. We won't focus on that on today's call, but just be aware that there are all of these extensibility functionality within the solution, emergency management, social citizen engagement. And so then the big question is, why social media for government? And really, we've got some key quotes in here that you see that it's not just about facts. And social media is all about the feelings of the facts. And so I'm sure as many of you have experienced, citizens and stakeholders who post and express on social media, quite often it's about the feelings, it's about the sentiment. And that sentiment is so key to be able to monitor and take action on. Everyone may know the facts, but that doesn't control or be able to have the right messaging around the circumstances, around events as they occur. And so being able to be proactive and responsive to that sentiment as it occurs is so key. Which segues into the Microsoft social listening component. The Microsoft solution does have a social listening and analytics standalone service that is so powerful. It allows you to search and aggregate posts across Twitter, Facebook, news, blogs, YouTube. As you can see from just this one screenshot, it's got a great interface. It gives you some information information at your fingertips, which I know from my experience with different civic and government agencies, quite often the reporting really needs to be concise, and the visuals are quite often very powerful, and that's what the solution really is able to give you. And really, when we talk about the sentiment, we're really talking about the ability to aggregate, analyze, and understand. I recently was aware of a particular municipality that had an international airport that brought on a new runway, and so the end result was a change in the flight path, which, of course, for those of you who are familiar with municipalities with airports, brought upon an increase in client or citizen concerns. The municipality was able to analyze those voices and really determine that a large volume, and I'm sure many of you are used to this, a large volume, 300 to 400 calls within a month were from a single individual. And so as a result of that analysis and that sentiment, they were able to make the metrics far more meaningful. So instead of it just looking like there was this mass increase in concerns, they were able to identify that it was really a certain number of voices that were concerning. And sort of segueing into that, the share of voice aspect of the Microsoft Social part is not just that type of voice in terms of the volume per voice, but also that it spans across languages. As many of us are used to with civic and government agencies, it's beyond just sort of a standard language. Most of us have to be able to work with and accommodate a variety of backgrounds and languages and cultures, and so the social listening aspect is so key because we find a variety of interactions on those levels. So it becomes very useful to be able to do that. Custom reporting, trend alerts, we're going to go into those in much deeper detail in the conference. But again, these are some of the key aspects to the solution that enables you to be proactive and responsive to these types of citizen concerns. So I see that we're about quarter to the hour. So at this point, I'm going to pass it back to Cheryl then, who will facilitate the Q&A. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff and Cory. All right, if you have any questions for our presenters, please submit them through the Q&A panel. It's in your lower right-hand corner, and you want to make sure that you select all participants so that everyone can see them. And trying to look, I think I have a few questions that we had. I don't see any questions, so someone tell me if I'm missing any. All right, I'm going to go with some of the questions that we had that were submitted ahead of time. And one of the questions was, do you have financial assistance for registration? Leslie, would you like to answer that?
Sure. I believe that there is a sort of like a financial assistance / scholarship program for those who are interested. And I'm assuming that they would contact Lisa Collins about that at CS Week. And I apologize, I don't have her phone number or information, but you could actually just send me an email. That would be one way, I suppose, and that's Leslie, Leslie, .Hamm, Hamm, at, and then this is all one word, Montgomery County MD.gov. And I'd be happy to pass that on to Lisa.
All right. One of the questions was, I'm worried that I'll feel out of place because I know very little about 311 and how to manage a call center, and will it be overwhelming? And I think I'm one of them that can answer. I joined about 3 years ago, and I went to my first conference probably 2 weeks after joining the City of Dallas. and I thought it would be overwhelming, and I can tell you now that it was very beneficial for me to go and interact with other 311 call centers and leaders, and it's been beneficial ever since. I've been to 2 others since then, one in Tampa and then another one in San Antonio. Very beneficial, the interaction that you have with people, the things that you learn, the things that you take away, I even have now people that I reach out to probably every month that are from the 311 Synergy group that I met during these sessions. So I found it beneficial.
And this is Don. I'm going to piggyback off of Cheryl. All the reasons that the person gave for why they're not sure they want to attend, all the reasons they should attend, because all those apprehensions will go away once they attend.
Yep. Anybody else?
Well, I just wanted to add, it's also when I first came, I kind of came in with I don't know a lot, and it's going to be really, really overwhelming because I don't have all the subject matter expertise. But I really felt as though like I said, it was just one big family that was just there to help and educate you and just walk you through everything. So
I agree. Another question that was raised was, do I need to bring anything with me? Just an open mind and ready to learn kind of attitude is what you really want to bring with you. Other than that, I think almost everything is provided for you. The agenda, maybe even paper and pen will be provided. Anybody have anything to add with that?
Well, this is Lisa. I just want to say you can reach me at lisacollins@csweek.org. or by phone at 903-893-3214, or you can reach me by my cell, 903-821-8675. I look forward to helping anyone that we can.
And what is the dress code like? I would say that it's business casual for the most part. Would you all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely yes.
Come comfortable because you're there to learn. You're not there to impress. Because of how you dress or anything. It's really more to learn from other people that do the same thing that you do. So it's an awesome experience, and the dress code is not as important as it is to learn from everyone else. How many of these folks already registered are going to be first-timers? I don't know the answer. I don't know if Lisa or Amber know.
I show about 40 people who are first-timers, and we have many who are returning.
Ah, that is awesome.
It is awesome. It's really incredible. This group has grown so much over the years and is quite impactful. What they bring to the table and what they help everyone with. So I encourage everyone to attend. This is a great meeting.
Some other questions. We have a very established 311 call center. Will there be presentations that will be of interest to us? I can't imagine that there won't be. The City of Dallas has been established really since 2008, and we learn every year. So I can't imagine not walking away without learning something.
Actually, there's a couple of presentations that really might be of interest to folks who have, they've got everything down. They've got the metrics down, the call handling, the outreach, all of that. But then it's kind of fun sometimes to hear sort of the higher level issues. For instance, Audrey Malthus from Chicago is going to be doing a segment from called Global Interest in the 311 Customer Delivery Model, and it's from a project that she was, or the City of Chicago was involved in. I can say here too in Montgomery County, Maryland, there's a program at the University of Maryland that brings in folks from China who are looking, they're public service employees, and we've probably had, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 groups come through here, and it's really interesting to hear to see what their perception of what we do here in North America and how it differs from how things work in their area. And we also have someone coming in to talk to us about report preparation and consolidating statistics. So again, sort of not just the day-to-day, here's how you get the calls answered and make sure it's done in an accurately and professional manner, but what do you do with that data? What kinds of reports can you run, and what do you do with those statistics? So I thought those were some of the things that our more seasoned folks might be interested in, over some of the other things.
And Leslie had some great, I think it was you last year that had some great reporting things that we tried to draw from as well.
Yeah, we love our reporting tools. Actually, one other thing that would be really cool is we have a PhD student from Pace University, and she's actually going to talk about how 311 centers have an impact on organizational development and local government. And I have to say, we're already seeing that here in Montgomery County. The way we do things and the kind of data we can provide really has impacted business processes in our county.
Good. What kind of topics are at the conference that I can share with my management to make the business case that it would be beneficial for me to attend, given the tight budget constraints to allow me to attend the conference? Has anybody had that experience that's on the panel?
I think the reporting has really impacted a lot of folks. Having the capacity to run those reports and actually help the senior leadership make data-driven decisions, I think is a big win. So certainly that's one thing. What else? Learning more about alternate channels of communication, I think, is a big one, as a way to encourage more folks to use self-service rather than call through the phones. And those are both things that, when you're looking at the folks who hold the purse strings, that they like to hear, that there's going to be some type of cost savings or efficiency that's going to help them in the county in the long run.
That is good. And you can also interact to where you're not reinventing the wheel. So, if you look at some of the agenda items, you can say, this is an item that we're trying to work on, and now we don't have to try to create the thing from start to finish. We can actually take the learnings from someone else, and I'll get that from this meeting. Now, one of the questions was, why do you think working with startups is valuable and important for governments? Kind of, is that on the Microsoft side?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's valuable and productive because sort of the entrepreneurial approach to problem solving, kind of that lean startup, iterative, agile problem solving methodology it's different from the way big governments typically look to solve challenges. So it's novel and can be very effective. I think working with startups is really just exciting because you are working with sort of these newer companies, not necessarily younger people, but newer companies that have sort of a unique, fresh eye, unique IP that they are using to solve a government challenge. And, I also think from a kind of an economic development perspective, the way to, I guess, Kaufman Foundation research tells us that most, if not all, job creation comes from companies that are 5 years or younger. So if you are a city leader and you want to create jobs and wealth in your community, in addition to solving civic and government challenges, embracing startups and working with them can be, really very, very valuable and productive from a variety of angles.
And Cory, with all the other CRM systems out there, what's different about the solution that you're proposing?
Sure, thank you. So I think that just to key in on three of the key differentiators, I think the speed to implement is probably the most significant, just because when it comes down to budgets and timeframes and resourcing, that's just so key, and the Microsoft ADX solution provides that very rapid implementation. So that's one. The second is the broad mobility reach. Of any device, anywhere, anytime. It's a solution that offers offers that flexibility without a lot of complexity through a responsive design approach. And then the third, obviously, the highly current sensitivity around social media listening. And just that integration, that capability provides municipalities and civic and government agencies with great insight and ability to respond.
All right, and we have one question that just came up. Will there be mobile application presentations or social media feedback discussions?
Yes, there's actually several opportunities to discuss social media. One certainly during the ideation session that typically comes out as a really hot topic that folks want to know more about. It's also, let's see, there's going to be some conversation about that during the the learning lounges. And then there's going to be, the technology survey went out, and so that presentation will talk a lot about what people are currently using. That might be interesting to folks, and they'll be given the opportunity to talk to the current 311 centers who are using those technologies and learn more about them.
All right, and we will definitely, I'm going to go ahead and close down the questions at this point, and we will have a copy of the webinar available for everyone. Probably by tomorrow, we should have it available on the 311 Synergy website, on CS Week website in the 311 Synergy webinar location. So I'd like to thank our presenters today, Halima, Leslie, Donna, Jeff, and Cory. Really appreciate it. Also want to say a special thank you to our 2015 sponsors. We have our Diamond sponsor, Microsoft. Then we also have our Sapphire sponsors as well as our Emerald sponsors that are listed. I don't know if you can see them or not. So take a look at the 311 Synergy group on LinkedIn. There's about 250 members currently right now. They're all over the United States as well as Canada. We really appreciate you joining us today to get a sneak peek at next month's 311 Synergy meeting in Charlotte. We hope to see you there. Have a great day.